We've all heard that John Wick's fifth chapter might end the series. But how likely is that to happen? Director Chad Stahelski said he has other projects in the development pipeline, and even Keanu's not so sure anymore. So, here's why John Wick 5's in doubt. Chad had about 6 or 7 confirmed titles in development, ranging from a John Wayne adaptation to the remake of Highlander that may or may not star Henry Cavill as Connor McLeod. Oh, and not to mention, he's also working on bringing Ghost of Tsushima to life. And I don't know about you, but I'm really psyched to see a live-action film adaptation of the game. It looks gorgeous on the PS4, and I think its visuals would translate really well to the big screen. Plus, Stahelski mentioned that he wants the movie to be in Japanese. I don't know why, but that makes me feel it'll be one of the best game adaptations we've gotten so far. Maybe even as good as The Last of Us. But the reason I'm talking about his other projects is that he's taking a break after John Wick 4. And I, for one, won't be clamoring for another John Wick chapter until the director himself is ready for the next one. But making a movie like John Wick is exhausting and incredibly time-consuming. They take up months and even years of your life. And trust me when I say that burnout is real. I know what it's like to work on projects you love for years and years, and not to come up for air or take a break. Eventually you get worn out. What's more, Chad's directed nothing but John Wick movies since 2014. I'm not kidding. He helped produce Day Shift and Bruised, and helped coordinate stunts in Deadpool 2, but he's mostly been occupied with the John Wick franchise. Which is all the more reason he deserves to take a nice long break from the series once Chapter 4 hits theaters. Originally, Chad planned on shooting Chapter 4 and 5 back to back, but it would have been a nightmare for both him and the cast and crew. Chad even admitted as much in a recent interview with Total Film. If they went ahead and did the movies back to back, it would have meant 200 days, or 6 exhausting months of shooting. And a movie typically takes 3 months to shoot before it moves into post-production. Now, we all saw what they're capable of in Chapter 3, but it takes months of prep to make sure that the giant set pieces and stunts are coming together perfectly, or the audience will catch on. In fact, for Chapter 3, Keanu, Halle Berry, and Mark Dacascos decided to up their stunt game, and did over 6 months of martial arts and weapons training before filming had even started. That's why Chad's able to get those gnarly long shots of the action sequences. Instead of, mashing a bunch of shots together as Taken 3 did. Anyway, if you thought Chapter 3 upped the stakes in terms of action choreography, then wait till you watch Chapter 4. According to Keanu, it's the most John Wick movie of the entire franchise. That means even more intricate action set pieces, multiple stunt teams from different countries, and even a freaking stunt dog. It's been in the works for over 2 years, and I can't imagine how tired Keanu's joints must be at this point. Sure, he's got experience from the Matrix trilogy and Man of Tai Chi, but this one's the most physically demanding role he's ever played so far, and do reverse into 180s. That, combined with learning how to use nunchucks properly and smacking himself in the head with them multiple times, makes Chapter 4 his magnum opus of sorts. It's probably not the final entry into the John Wick saga, but it's the biggest they've gone yet. Having said all that, Keanu's still not sure if a 5th one's in the books. The reason's simple. If the audience doesn't like it, or if they don't sell enough tickets, Lionsgate might need to do some rethinking. That's a bummer, because here I was in my bubble thinking that it was on to the next one for old John Boy. But just like Avatar: The Way of Water, John Wick 5 is at the mercy of the studio. Chad and Keanu are really passionate about the franchise, and the long production schedules and intense prep and stunt work only make them happier. Yes, it's exhausting. It's blood, sweat, and tears. It's them chasing perfection with every single sequel. But their focus is to give fans more of what they love. More John Wick, more high-octane action sequences, and more world building. It's kind of like being a victim of your own high standards, You set the bar too high the first time, and it gets harder and harder to reach it with every sequel. Anyway, who am I kidding? Of course Chapter 4 is gonna be epic. I have complete faith in the team to bring us something we've never seen before and leave our jaws on the cinema floors. But there's another good reason why a fifth film might not be the studio's immediate concern. Chapter 4 presents a kind of conclusion to John's story so far, and ties together many emotional threads that the previous films have left hanging. But a conclusion can mean many things in John's world. It could be him overcoming, or failing to overcome the high table. Or it could reveal a secret about his life that he had no idea about until this point. I mean, Keanu promised us many surprises, and they can't all be cameos, right? There has to be something near the end that'll change everything. Maybe John loses and has to regroup in the fifth movie. Maybe the Bowery King has a dark secret no one saw coming. Or maybe Winston ends up at the top of the high table once their clips are empty and the smoke clears. I don't know. Do you have a theory about Chapter 4? If so, now's the time to type it in the comments because I want to know your thoughts. Either way, no matter what happens, John's story won't be over until the fans say it's over. That's the bottom line. I know Keanu and Chad are gonna go off and do other projects, and they should. But Stileski made sure to tell the fans that the two of them will sit down and discuss the next movie the same way they always do. On a press tour, in Japan, at the Imperial Hotel. The two of them sit down, sip Japanese whiskey, and talk about what they can and can't do. And before you know it, they have the concept on paper. After that, all they need is a green light from Lionsgate. But the most important thing is how they approach each film. Every time they discuss a sequel, they treat it as though it's the last one. It needs to stand on its own feet, and not rely on a sequel to conclude the story. Besides, Chad's incredibly grateful for how everything turned out. In a Collider interview, he revealed that John Wick 1 was a sort of fun little experiment, and that neither he, Keanu, nor anyone in the cast or crew had any idea that it would turn out to be such a phenomenon. Everyone keeps asking for more, because it offers them something no other franchise has since The Matrix or The Raid. Unparalleled action and great storytelling. Chad even said that he's ready to keep making sequel after sequel until he can't direct or walk anymore. And Keanu's immortal, so I'm sure he's gonna be starring in John Wick movies till 2075 or something. But jokes aside, the fate of John Wick 5's in safe hands, guys. As long as the cinemas keep filling up, we've got nothing to worry about. There you have it, ladies and gents. That's everything we know about John Wick 5.